What's going on, fellow humans and resellers? It is I, James, readoptionagency.com, 23 years selling full-time on eBay. And I want to go over this little article I found today with you. It kind of is a throwback to last Friday's little Pimp Master of Stuff special. So I thought about adding it to tomorrow's video, but I decided to go ahead and make a video on its own because I think it is pretty relevant and it kind of ties off of last week's video. So I don't want to, really repeat myself, if you will, on tomorrow's video. So let's get into this. And the article is CD revenue nearly triples digital album sales in the first half of 2024. If you don't know, my CD sales have doubled since I started the buy two get two sale. But here's some little information on. Dude, you made me hit you in the head. Digital downloads are grasping for air while CDs rise from the dead. The Recording Industry Association of America mid-year report has revealed an unexpected comeback story. CDs, once thought to be on their way out, have not only held their ground, but are now outselling digital albums by a 3-to-1 margin. The surprise shift might just be the final blow for digital downloads as physical media strongly returns to the spotlight. I will disagree there with digital downloads. I think as more and more virtual reality comes into play, I think digital downloads and songs like that might have more of a spot. If you're in a digital world, virtual world, and you go over to hit a stereo and you turn on your radio in this virtual world, you're probably going to be playing a digital download, I would think. So I don't think they're on their way out. I think they're just in a lull right now. They've been steadily going down every year. But I think something like virtual reality, once that really becomes mainstream, I think we'll pick up the digital downloads again. But for now, it's still going down. So you can see right here, digital permanent download for 2024 compared to 2023 is down about 18.7%. The entire album's down 15.7%. So you can come down here for physical. CDs are up 3.3%. LPs are up 10.7%. So the physical media is not dead yet and is actually steadily increasing. So diving into the RIA report, we're seeing a music industry that's not just surviving, but thriving. While digital album sales are dropping fast from 87.8 million in the first half of 2024, CD revenue is steadily at 236.7 million. Sure, it's only a tiny 0.3 uptick from last year, but when you stack it up against the digital decline, it's nothing short of remarkable. In terms of units, 16.8 million CDs were sold in the first half of 2024, which is a 3.3 increase from the previous year. And this would be more than likely just new CDs released by the record companies. This is not used on secondhand markets. And CDs released from record companies go into stores and online. The growth, while modest, is very different from the 15.7% drop in digital album units, which fell to 8.9 million. Let's see. Looking at the bigger picture, the record music industry is on a roll with total revenue hitting 8.7 billion, a solid 4% jump from 2023. So here is the U.S. physical music revenues. As you can see here, up from 882 to 994 in the first half of the last year. And physical products, including the resilient CD and the ever-trendy vinyl, contribute a hefty 994 million to the pot, marking a 13% surge for the previous year. On the other hand, vinyl continues its own resurgence, with revenue growing 17% to 740 million and unit sales increasing 10.7% to 24.3 million. Digital and customized radio services like Sirius XM and internet radio stations are also growing, up 2% from 672 million. And that could be another, also in a virtual world, where internet radio will come into play there also, I believe. It seems there is space for many different formats in today's variety music scene. That is, except for digital downloads. Factors driving CD resurgence. The unexpected revival of CDs is largely attributed to a surprise demographic, Generation Z. According to data from SNEP, the French record industry group, 43% of CD buyers are under 35 years old, but this trend isn't isolated to France. Similar patterns are emerging globally. Get it out. Several factors contribute to this renewed interest in CDs among young listeners. Nostalgic and novelty. For many Gen Z, CDs are a physical link to a time they barely knew, creating a sense of both nostalgic and novelty. Artist-driven demand. Big releases from popular artists have made people interested in CDs again. For example, Taylor Swift's, 2.47 million CD copies in the first half. And I had stated on the last week's video about how she makes several different versions of the same album, and people want to collect them all. So that's a big change compared to the number of different variations, as opposed to, say, when I worked in a music store. Physical ownership. In a time where digital things can disappear, owning a physical copy of an album appeals to many music fans. Of course, audio quality is always something. Some listeners prefer an uncompressed sound of CD over streaming or compressed digital files. And affordability. Compared to vinyl, CDs are still a cheaper way to build a physical music collection. I think that, and DVDs are really going to start really springing up as the next generation starts buying homes and such, and they just have their caves or their rooms where they like to collect stuff, because as humans, it's in our nature to collect things. So let's see, are digital downloads dying? So here it shows the difference between the last 12 months. The RIAA reports suggest that digital downloads are indeed on their last leg. After 14 years of decline, they now make up only 2% of the U.S. recorded music revenue. Wow, that low. The numbers are grim. Digital album sales generated just $87.8 million in the first half of 2024, an 18.5% nosedive from 2023. Individual track sales aren't faring any better, tumbling to $81.8 million, a 16.1% drop. Add it all up, the total digital download revenue, including album singles and other formats, took a steep 15.8 plunge to $189.7 million. Ringtones aren't really too much of a thing anymore. The downward spiral in digital downloads is very different from the steady sales of CDs and the rapid growth of streaming services. In fact, paid subscriptions to music streaming services grew by 4% to a staggering 5.7 billion, now accounting for nearly 2/3 of the total mid-year revenue. A lot of that has to do with, all the cars are phone friendly now, and you can stream music from your phone while you're driving and stuff. I think that has a lot to do with it. And usually that's a lot better option than listening to local radio, where you don't have control over the music, or you have to hear ads all the time, commercials, if you will. So interesting information there. So could have a little to do with some of the increase in my CD sales, since they've doubled, almost. I would say almost doubled. So so just thought I'd share this information with you, and thank you all for hanging out, and I will see you all in the next video later.